Arcadian Vanguard presents the Wrestling News in your daily wrestling newscast for Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. Good morning. I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's episode of WWE Monday Night Raw, broadcast live on the USA Network from the Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Cody Rhodes pinned Finn Balor in the main event, hitting him with a crossroads after blasting him with Damian Priest's Money in the Bank briefcase, which Priest had slid into the ring for Balor to use on Rhodes. Following the match, Judgment Day and JD McDonough laid out both Rhodes and Sami Zayn, who had come down to try to make the save.
Sami Zayn up high. Damian Priest says Zayn's on the title. A vicious, brutal assault by the Judgment Day.
In the opening match of the show, Zayn had pinned McDonough before being chased from the ring by Balor. During an in-ring interview, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins confronted Shinsuke Nakamura, who turned on him last week, agreeing to grant Nakamura a shot at the championship. Nakamura then laid out the champion and walked away.
Well, Shinsuke Nakamura gets what he wants, but the question is, Wade, whatever he just whispered to Seth Rollins seems concerning to the champion. And another Kinshasa! Nakamura from behind! Whatever he said to Rollins allowed Rollins to take his eye off the ball. And Nakamura once again struck with a Kinshasa to the World Heavyweight Champion. And perhaps Nakamura has Rollins' number.
WWE World Women's Champion Rhea Ripley defeated Indy Hartwell in a non-title match, after which Hartwell and Candice LeRae ran Ripley off. In another non-title match, Intercontinental Champion Gunther bested Otis. Chad Gable hit the ring and hit Gunther with a German suplex after the match. Earlier in the show, Gable had defeated Giovanni Vinci of Imperium. In other results, Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch battled to a double countout. Drew McIntyre and Matt Riddle teamed for the first time to beat the Viking Raiders, and Chelsea Green, one half of the women's tag team champions, allied herself with Piper Niven as a possible replacement for her injured tag team partner Sonya Deville. In ratings news, SmackDown on Fox drew a total audience of 2.097 million viewers last week, according to WrestleNomics, which was down nearly 7% from the previous week's 2.248 million. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was 0.55, down more than 11% from the previous week's 0.62 key demo rating and representing 720,000 viewers. Last week's episode marked SmackDown's lowest total audience in key demo rating since May, also occurring on a night during which the show was preempted in several markets due to NFL preseason games. Last Friday's episode of AEW Rampage drew a total audience of 398,000 to TNT, according to WrestleNomics. That number is down 8% from the previous week's audience of 434,000. The rating in the key 18 to 49-year-old demographic was 0.15, up from the previous week's 0.14 and representing 199,000 viewers. It was also the highest key demo rating for Rampage in 4 months. In Lucha Libre news, AAA Mega Champion Hijo del Vikingo is reported by PW Insider to be fine and will not need to miss any matches following an incident at last weekend's Triple Mania 31 in Mexico City, in which Vikingo passed out following a successful title defense in the main event. After passing out, Vikingo was taken from ringside on a stretcher, with PW Insider reporting that none of its sources indicated the incident to be a work. Vikingo was reportedly feeling unwell going into the match, which was attributed to dehydration and not eating enough earlier in the day. And in news from Japan, Yuji Hino and Makoto Oishi won the King of DDT Tag Team Championship on Sunday in Tokyo's Korakuen Hall as part of DDT's Saki Akai 10th Anniversary Tour. Hino and Oishi won the belts from Daisuke Sasaki and MJ Paul of Damnation TA, ending their reign at 49 days. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The wrestling news can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News Podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the wrestling news across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the wrestling news. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.